Hey guys, Christian the Hammer Card Man coming back at you with another D-Time card discussion today. If you haven't heard that name yet, D-Time is basically just saying discussion time. But obviously the play on words because of the card D-Time. So, anyways, puns, bad puns aside, courtesy of Team Chaos Stream, by the way, you can definitely thank him for that one. We are going to be talking about super polymerization today, but before we get into that, be sure to check out all of those links down in the description to not only my channel, but also for everyone else in the coalition. All of their channels are down there in that description. Be sure to go check them all out, give them all some love. They're all awesome creators and they make amazing videos. So once again, be sure to go check them out and give them some love. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's card discussion about super polymerization. Now, with Master Rule 5 coming up, because as of recording this, I am like a week and a half out from Master Rule 5 being released. Obviously, this card is going to skyrocket in terms of power. Super Polymerization was already super powerful before, being able to use up your opponent's monsters to go into stuff like Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, or in the case of like Salamangreat decks, you could pull out some Cyberse fusions, you know, all this different stuff, and or Mud Dragon in the Swamp, another powerful target. Of course, in Master Rule 5, those weren't as powerful because you either needed to have the link arrows or you would have to end up using whatever monster you brought out for link plays just so you could get that extra monster zone and get some arrows to go into your plays. But with Master Rule 5, none of that matters anymore because you can put all of those monsters right in the main monster zone. So super polymerization becomes much more destructive. Being able to use up your opponent's monsters, getting the body on your field that you can now use not only as fodder for links, you can also use it for Exceed summons, you can use it for synchros, and you can use them for fusions, like even more fusions. So it's just ridiculous. I mean, especially for things like Shaddolls and heroes, super polymerization becomes ridiculous because at that point you can use any attribute to go into your own fusion plays as long as you have either a Shaddol or a hero monster in your field, depending on what you're playing. And it's just insane. Or if you have the right monsters in your extra deck and you're playing like a mirror match, you can still just play that right there. So it's super poly is just incredible because it doesn't usually end up putting you plus in card advantage, but it helps you to remove some really problematic cards in the field. In the examples I just listed, like Shaddolls and Heroes, you can actually use super polymerization to get rid of ridiculous cards like, for example, Apollosa. If you didn't see my last card discussion, I totally ripped on Apollosa, Bow the Goddess, because I absolutely hate her. But with the Hero and Shaddol strategies, you could suck up the Apollosa to be able to get a fusion monster of your own, and you won't have to deal with monster negates anymore, so you can go into your normal combos. And really, having a Wendigo or a Great Tornado is not that bad of a deal. I mean, sure, they're not the best monsters in the deck, but link plays, you can still use it for that, or more fusion plays, because now you have a hero monster on board or a Shaddol monster on board that you can use for more fusion monsters. So super polymerization, I think, is probably going to get hit on the ban list again. I'm not going to be surprised at all if this goes down to 1 or even completely banned, just because this is going to be an absolutely broken card, considering that it is spell speed 4 that you can activate on your opponent's turn. This card is just going to be ridiculous. Like, you can't answer anything to it. There's nothing you can do to stop super polymerization. As soon as you see this card get flipped face up, you know that your monsters are going to be gone. So super poly is just insane. Now, granted, the cost of discarding a card is not a light one, but in some cases, or actually a lot of cases, it is a very helpful thing and really not at all a detriment. So just the amount of synergy and potential this card can have in just about any strategy going into Master Rule 5 is going to be insane. I mean, you just think about all the things like Starving Venom Fusion Dragon becomes a level 8 dark monster, so once again, you have more fodder for fusions, or you can go into rank 8 monsters, or if you have the right tuners, you can do like level 9 or 10 synchro monsters. So there's plays you can do with that. Same with Mud Dragon in the Swamp. He is a level 4, so you can use that for synchros, you can use that for Exceeds. He's a water monster, so if you're playing heroes, you can use it for absolute 0. So, like, there is so many things that super polymerization can work really well with. And, like, once again, there are those specific strategies that, like, are fusion-based that revolve around using specific attributes. Even invoked monsters get a huge boost of advantage off of super polymerization, especially if you end up sending something to the graveyard like an invocation and you have a banished Alistair, so you can use that to refuel some stuff there. So there is so much synergy to be had with super polymerization. It's absolutely going to be broken. I don't see any point in like banning the cards that revolve around it. I think it's more reasonable to limit this card, and I'm not saying that it's overpowered to the point that it should go on the ban list. I feel like this is a way more balanced card than Apollosa. just because not everybody's going to be running those cards that allow you to actually use super polymerization. It's not always going to be alive to suck up your opponent's monsters. There's obviously going to be a lot of big monsters that people are going to be playing super polymerization just for, or like zombie world decks that are using it with zombie world to make all monster zombies and then go into those plays. So I mean, there's obviously some strategies like that can be a little bit ridiculous and allow you to do whatever you want. And obviously also with like plunder patrols, even you use plunder patrol booty to change them to whatever attribute you want, so that'll open up plays for polymerization right there. You can easily throw plunder patrols into heroes and do that if you wanted. I mean, there's just so much broken potential with this card. I guess I shouldn't say broken. That is kind of the bad term to use here. Powerful. There are definitely a bunch of powerful plays to make with this card, and that is why it is super polymerization. It totally makes sense. This is like the most, in my mind, one of the most powerful fusion cards that we have to date, because not only is it so generic, it allows you to use monsters from either field as fusion material, and since there is so much in the meta right now that just like spams the field of monsters, super polymerization becomes super useful, especially with all the different monster effects. This in and of itself becomes, in my mind, a better, less degenerate version of Apollousa, because it does require setup, it does require running the extra deck space for it. It's not just turboing out into one monster that just says, hey, I'm going to negate this stuff. This actually requires your opponent having to set up stuff and then be able to spring this as a trap. It's more of a timing thing and more of like a you've got to know when you can actually play it sort of thing, rather than just shotgunning out an Apollousa and being like, hey, you're not allowed to play Yu-Gi-Oh! You know, that kind of stuff to me is a little bit ridiculous. So super polymerization, all in all, I think is going to be like the more balanced option and better for Match Pool 5, because once again, it requires you playing that stuff in the extra deck, which not all decks have the space for, nor do they all have the means to actually use it. So it does become more of a balanced card. It's not going to be like in every deck, but super polymerization is always just going to be a useful card. It's definitely not broken like Apollousa or even in some cases Borreload Savage Dragon. It is just overall a useful tech card, and nothing I think that can really be taken like too much advantage of. I think this is actually going to be about where we want to see the meta going in terms of, you know, just keeping things balanced, being able to hold back those powerful up and coming cards, but also not like being a broken card in and of itself. I mean, maybe in the future there could be means for giving this card an errata to allow players to activate stuff in response to it, but really, I don't see that being a thing either. I think it's just going to stay the way it is. It's probably just going to go on and off the ban list for a hot minute until we figure out something that can make this card a little bit more balanced. I think personally, though, it is sitting at a pretty decent spot right now, and I don't think anything really needs to be done with it. If anything is going to be done with it, I'd say maybe put it down to 2. But honestly, with Predaplant Verte Anaconda coming up, or with it already released from Dual Overload, it's not really going to do anything to limit or semi-limit this card, because, well, Predaplant Verte Anaconda can just pull it out from the deck and use its effect. So really nothing to be like super about there. It's pretty much an all or nothing at this point. Either Konami decides to ban it or they decide to leave it, and I'm really hoping they decide to leave it, because I would love to see this card stay in. There's just so much with it, and it does create a lot more fun interactive play. So this is a card I would really love to see stay, and if you guys agree, let me know down in the comments. Just let me know in general what you think about this card down in the comments. Is it broken? Should it stay? Is it totally fine and balanced? Or is this something we really need to look at in the meta and tone it down a little bit? So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Once again, leave your thoughts down below. I'm definitely excited to hear those and discuss with you guys. That's all I got for you today. Thank you so much again for watching, and I hope to see you guys all in the next video. Remember to have fun and make your move. Peace out.